Welcome once again to another episode of the Bulldog Bark, where we talk all things Crown Point football. And as always, we're joined today by head football coach Craig Bazia. Coach, how are we doing today?
Hey, Ski, loving life. Beautiful day out, and I can't wait to talk to you about some Bulldog football.
Well, we got a big game coming up this week against the Valparaiso Vikings, but let's quickly recap and go back to last Friday's game as you took on the Portage Indians and had a convincing win, 49-6. But interestingly, the game sure started off crazy. I probably haven't been to too many games where the first two kickoffs of the game weren't necessarily onside kicks, but the other team got them, and luckily you were able to hold them to only one score.
Yeah, that was a sort of an inauspicious start, wasn't it? And we, one of those things that, you work on every week and you talk about it, but until it happens, you never think it's going to happen. So, the first one just sort of dropped in between two returners, and then the second one the second one was one of those that you really, I guess you got to give the kicker credit, but it was one of those squib kicks that just bounced up about 20 feet in the air, and by the time we bobbled it, they got down there. But it was good. It was good from the fact that we found out how resilient we were. There was no panic, and it was actually the first time that we have been behind on the scoreboard all year long. As we're down 6-0.
Yeah. Well, offensively, another good charge. A lot of work through the air this week. You had to be happy with how the offense performed.
Yeah, we were, and we thought that Portage might just stack up against the run. They did that. They did a nice job with that. Opened up some things in the passing game. I think Noah had 260 yards passing in the first half alone. And then we took him out. But he threw to several receivers. Obviously, a kid like Jacob Jones, who plays receiver for us, had an outstanding day. Caught a 60-yard touchdown, but also led our team in rushing and had a rushing touchdown on a counter play for about 60 yards as well. So he had a big day. Larry Ellison, again, very solid. Landon Delich, Seamus Molaski came through with the first touchdown. So very, very happy the way we spread the ball around to different receivers. And then once we got that lead, we were able to sustain some momentum on the ground and put the game away. But like I said, anytime you can score 49 points and a half, and again, one of those were a scoop and score by Will Clark on our defense. But anytime you can do that, you feel pretty good about your chances, and especially doing that against a conference opponent. So good game on the road, and now it looks like we're coming back home.
Defensively, Coach, giving up 6 points when they had the ball deep in your own territory, it's just got to be a good feeling going into each game, knowing that your offense is strong, but your defense is going to keep you into every game.
Defense has had a great 5 weeks here. I mean, this has been outstanding, and like I said, that was the first time that and even though Portage scored, they had to work for it. And I think they were helped on with a pass interference call that helped them move the ball. But with a team that wants to throw the ball as much as Portage does, and they throw it a bunch. You just never know, because it's usually a lot of those balls are 50-50 balls, and I thought our corners did a really nice job on them, and when we applied some pressure, I thought we got home to the quarterback a couple of times and shook him a little bit. So defense, very, very proud of them, as I've been all year long.
Now, Coach, you win games, you get the running clock going in a lot of these games, and one nice thing is you get to see some of your second, third team guys coming in and getting some work. What have you seen out of that second crew that has impressed you so far?
Well, especially in the Portage game, how they held, Portage still had their first team offense and defense in, and we had our second and third teams in, and I thought our guys really did a great job. I mean, as you've seen in the past, I think 3 of the games prior, we've given up a touchdown late in the game with our second or third team guys, and that didn't happen this week. And we made an emphasis at halftime. When we told them our starters are coming out, we don't expect it to take a step back, and our young guys stepped up and lo and behold held them and held them to a shutout. After that, so very, very proud of them, and anytime you get a running clock, you do get a look at some of those guys, and unfortunately for for the starters, they get out. They don't get to play as much as they normally do. But yeah, I do think it makes your program stronger because you're getting some of those guys that are getting some varsity minutes as opposed to JV minutes.
Let's talk offensive awards. You've already talked a little bit about them this week. The Station 21 Offensive Player of the Week was Jacob Jones.
Yeah, Jacob Jones, outstanding game. His breakthrough game, and we knew it was coming. I mean, he had some glimpses there, but for what he did, and as we talked about it, he could have easily got the offense, the defense, and the special teams player of the week, as well as the hit of the week. And so when you're getting recognized or your name is being mentioned for all those, you had a heck of a game. So. But we held it to one and gave him the offensive player of the week. Well deserved.
On the defensive side, you were talking about the corners and having a great game this week. It's Jalen Kelly.
Jalen Kelly got tested early and often and really stood up to the test against some really talented Portage receivers. And Jay's had a really outstanding year. And he's a 3-year starter at the cornerback position and has made some big plays for us and had an outstanding game.
All right, and in the special teams player of the week this week, Carson Granger.
Carson Granger does all our long snapping for us, and anytime that you're scoring that 7 touchdowns in each game, he's got to do a good job on that. We haven't punted the ball very often. I think we punted it once through 5 games, but he was solid on there as well. But we thought it's good. It's time to give him recognition. I think we were perfect on extra points, and that doesn't happen without. The snap being solid every time. So congratulations to Carson, our special teams player of the week.
Preparing for the week on the scout defensive side, it's Kelvin Stewart.
Yeah, okay, he did a great job for us. Again, very mobile defensive lineman went against, and we put Calvin down on the defensive line and did a really, really solid job for us, and really gave us a good picture. On the defensive side of the ball with what Portage was going to present. So congratulations to Calvin.
And finally, the scout team offensive player, Tanner Rawls.
Tanner is converted defensive back to running back, and he's picked it up pretty quickly. He's done a nice job on the JV, but whenever the varsity needs him to run, the opposing's running back, he does a fantastic job. And these awards are given out by the opposite team, so that the offensive player of the year is selected by the defensive staff, and vice versa. So obviously the defensive staff thought that Tanner did an outstanding job for us and carrying the ball. So congratulations to him.
Well, every week we keep saying we'll have a bone crusher hit of the week if there is one. Well, we've had one every week, and you got another one this week.
Yeah, and this is one of 3 that we had a debate about. Jacob Soley gets it this week, and what separated him from the others was, and there were 3 good hits. I think one was Will Clark, another one was Jacob Jones, and then on special teams. But Jacob, his block, not only was it a solid block and a bone crushing block, it led to a 55-yard run, and so he was right at the point of attack, and that's one of the things that we're looking at when we give this award out. How meaningful was the block, and it was certainly right at the point of attack and sprung our guy for 55 yards. So congratulations to junior H-back Jacob Soley.
And congratulations to all the award winners this week for the Station 21 Players of the Week. Well, Coach, a big game coming up this week. You're going up against the defending 5A state champion Valparaiso Vikings. It's one of those teams, you talk about rivals. There's so many different rivals that you guys have with the Maryville Pirates, the Vikings. Almost everybody's a rival. But this is a special one as you guys will be fighting for the lead in the DAC.
Yeah, it's one that I think a lot of people have had circled all year long. We were able to make it to this point undefeated in the DAC. They were as well. They have one hiccup in the first game against Penn, but in the DAC we're all tied up, and not only that, but we play for the county seat trophy, which we were able to capture last year. So it's a big traveling trophy award between the 2 schools. So they're 5A champs for a reason. They bring virtually everybody back from that team. They're just loaded at every position. We'll get a look at what their running back that we weren't able to see last year. And number 9, he's a load. Quarterback is an awesome athlete. Couple nice receivers. Our offensive line is as good as we faced, and their defense is always very, very solid. They run a lot of different coverages, a lot of different looks, apply a lot of pressure, and so it's unlike any game that we've played. Or these guys are just they're the top of the heap right now in regards to the region and what they're able to accomplish last year, and it's going to be really interesting to see how we gauge up against them because again, I think they have a team that is destined to win another state championship. So that when we're done, we'll find out our flaws and things that we need to work on. But I know some of the administration has told me that they're anticipating this being the biggest regular season crowd in Crown Point history. So it's going to be a beautiful night. 2 big schools that support their football team. So I think this is going to be a showcase like none other, at least for this season.
Oh, that's what Friday Night Lights is all about, right?
Absolutely. And we tell our guys, this is what you play for, right? Like 1%. 1% of everybody that plays high school football will get to play in a game with this magnitude and this many people and what's at stake. It's just I just wish every kid that plays high school football had a chance to play in an environment that's going to be on Friday, and I'm glad our guys will be a part of that.
Well, I know you've already tweeted it out. Get your tickets early for this game so they won't be sold out at the game. Expecting another big crowd on both sides, and it's going to be an atmosphere like you've never seen before. It's the Valparaiso Vikings coming into town to face the Crown Point Bulldogs. Coach, appreciate you talking with us today. We'll look forward to Friday night, and go Dogs.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a special night, and glad we can be a part of it. And as we welcome the 5A champs in here. So, like you said, get your tickets, get here early, root on the Dogs, and let's see if we can come away with a victory.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being here today, Coach. Friday night it is. Friday, 7 o'clock at Bulldog Stadium. The Vikings and the Bulldogs. Make sure you're there. We'll talk about it again next week on our next episode. Until then, thanks for joining us. This is all for Bulldog Bark.